Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome to the final video of the Ratchet Clank project, which is going to be a very quick extra video, just kind of covering some of the things that I didn't cover within the project, and of course some of the things that you can obtain after beating the game once. You know, just stuff of that nature. So that's what I'm going to be essentially covering in this video. It could be a very short video as a result. If that's the case, I'll probably release a stream VOD or something today alongside this video. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So one of the main things I didn't really go over, or if I went over it, it was to a very, very small extent, is some of the bonus weapons you can get in the game. Now, for the most part, I got all of the very basic, generic Gadgetron weapons, and of course any weapons that you got from the game playthrough in general. But there are some bonus weapons, and one of the first bonus weapons that you guys may or may not remember is the R.Y.N.O, the Rhino as it's normally called, which you could buy from the shady salesman on the planet Rilgar. Now, you need to have 150,000 bolts for this, and if you couldn't tell, that's a lot of bolts you have to save up for, but there's a lot of different ways that you can actually get bolts. And I'm going to actually link in the video description a short little video that will basically show you, in my opinion, the best bolt grinding that you can potentially do in this playthrough. I know I showed off that little like R.Y.N underpass trick, but that trick is baby steps compared to what this trick actually was able to help me with. So I definitely recommend this as opposed to what I was doing before. It's just a much faster way. You don't have to be like really paying attention very much while you're doing it. If you have like some kind of like controller vice or turbo controller, you can very easily do this with no issues whatsoever. But basically, there's a way you can actually get onto the Rilgar hoverboard track, which is basically where we did the first hoverboard race. And there's one specific section where if you get below the huge pile of boxes that are in the sky, and if you use your Taunter while you're under that pile of boxes, you can actually get non-stop bolts. Like, quite literally, bolts will be raining from the sky, and they'll never stop until you actually leave the area. Unfortunately, I ran into a huge problem where I decided to, in a very non-smart way, leave the racetrack when I wasn't quite done with grinding everything, and as a result, I lost my chance to continue using that method, because once you do that the first time, for some reason those boxes just do not respawn. Maybe they do if I did something else, but they were not responding as far as I'm concerned. So I essentially lost my chance, but thankfully I was pretty close to what I needed to get everything, so it wasn't a huge amount of time I lost by doing that. I just ended up starting a new challenge playthrough anyway and got the rest of the bolts I needed through that fashion. But yeah, whatever you do, make sure you, whenever you use those grinding spots, make sure you have all the bolts you need for the rest of the game, for the rest of all the items you have to buy before you actually leave, because otherwise you will miss your chance to get those bolts ever again. So just keep that in mind. But now that we have all the bolts we need, I'm going to very quickly showcase the Rhino. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip right now. And here we are. Here's the salesman. We'll talk to him.
This thing is heavy. Yeah, try carrying it around in your trench coat for 2 months.
Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to tell everyone about your services.
Listen, you little twerp. If you tell anyone what you saw or what we talked about...
Do I even have to say it?
Yous two have a nice day.
So the Rhino, the most overpowered weapon in the game, and to show you how overpowered it is, let's go to the final boss fight. The Rhino is a homing missile machine, where with each piece of ammo will fire about 5 rounds of those missiles at your target. This is so freaking deadly. It does so much damage. I'm literally melting the final boss here. This is, like, I'm already on the second phase right now. I'll be soon moving on to the third phase. It's just a really, really good weapon. I think it is more than worth the 150,000 you need to buy it, because this completely breaks the game. It breaks the game so bad. Like, it's even good to use, like, on your way to the final boss fight, because I had some trouble getting to Drek in the first place when I did my playthrough. But with the Rhino, it makes that section a whole lot easier, because, like, you'll literally target those super soldiers and you'll kill, like, 2, 3, or 4 at a time. It's just, it's so freaking powerful. And, like, again, just, like, look at his health bar right now. It's literally melting. It is such a freaking good weapon. My god. I was surprised at how deadly this was. Like, I knew it was a good weapon, but I never would have thought it was this good. Like, it puts the Devastator to shame. It puts the Visibomb gun to shame. It even puts the Tesla Claw, which, admittedly, after finishing this game, like, yeah, like, the Tesla Claw was great, but this is even better than that. Oh my god, like, this weapon is just so freaking good, and, you know, I had a blast getting this and actually using it in this fashion, because it was just fun to see this guy literally just get wrecked by the super-powered, overpowered weapon. So yeah, that's pretty much the Rhino. Apparently it comes back in future games, future Ratchet Clank games. So it'll be cool to see how this is used in those games for sure, because let's just say I'm very, very impressed, very, very satisfied with this purchase. It's such a good weapon. It really, really is. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for this boss fight. So let's go ahead and take down the final boss yet again. And there we go. The next thing I'm going to talk about are the gold weapons. Now, you may know we've been collecting all of those gold bolts throughout the playthrough. There is a secondary purpose to that. Not only are the gold bolts just kind of standard collectibles where there's, you know, some gold bolts in every level, the gold bolts are actually used to make gold weapons, where 10 weapons in the game, most of them are Gadgetron weapons, but a few of the other weapons like the Suck Cannon and the Morph Array, ones that you can find within levels, also gain kind of a gold weapon feature. And basically, whenever you start a challenge mode playthrough, which is basically New Game Plus, which is basically just kind of playing the game over again with all the weapons you bought, with exception to, like, all of the upgrades. So you don't have, like, all the jump upgrades, you don't have, like, all the swimming upgrades, the O2 mask, the Trespasser, Swing Shot, all of those, like, utility items. You don't have those, but every weapon that you've bought from the Gadgetron vendor and all the other ones that you've bought, like, just, or found throughout the game, you already have in your possession, which makes the game a lot faster. Seriously, it makes it a lot faster. And basically, when you start your game on Novalis, which is the first planet after the little introductory section on Velden, there will be a teleporter, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys right now. I'm going to play the clip here. And as you can see, there's a teleporter here at the very beginning, and you can enter the gold weapon shop. Now, you can only access this particular gold weapon shop on your second playthrough, so you can only do this in challenge mode. And as you can see, you need gold bolts and a certain number of regular bolts to get these weapons. And yes, you have to save up a lot of bolts to get these. If you thought saving up for the Rhino was a heavy expense, because the Rhino is 150,000, I believe I estimated that you need 400,000 to get not only the Rhino, but also all of the gold weapons as well. So I was literally just one night just grinding bolts while I was in a Skype call or a Discord call. I think it was a Discord call. But yeah, like, I was in a Discord call just grinding these bolts for these weapons. And just, you know, while I was talking to people, I literally just had my hand on the circle button, just grinding bolts away as I was getting everything. But yeah, so you have to get a lot of bolts to get these weapons. Basically, the gold weapons here, they're... I don't want to say they're necessarily more powerful, but they're more effective for sure. Like, a lot of the bomb weapons give you, like, bigger blast radiuses. Some of the weapons have, like, multi-hit properties, like the Blaster and Devastator, and even the Tesla Claw. The Tesla Claw, the golden variation of that is so freaking cool. And there's also the, sometimes it makes some of the other projectiles bigger. The Glove of Doom guards are actually bigger. Whenever you use the golden Morph Array, you actually make bigger chickens. So, you know, just that's basically what it is. It also gives the weapons kind of a gold slick feel to them. So as you can see, all the weapons are actually gold now as well. That's basically what you can expect from the gold weapons. I mean, it's mostly a visual thing, but, you know, they have their own unique properties as well, and I'll try to show them off here in a little bit. Before I do, though, there is actually another way you can get to a gold weapon shop here on the Gemlik Moon Base. Right after you beat Drek, if you go over here to this place right in this position, you can wall jump up this little thing, find an elevator, and this will actually take you to another gold weapon shop, and you can actually get here on your first playthrough and not just in challenge mode. The only difference is there's only 5 weapons available. Only the Glove of Doom, the Blaster, the Pyrociter, the Bomb Glove, and I believe the Suck Cannon. Yeah. So those are the only ones that are available in this particular shop. So if you want to get all the gold weapons, you have to go to challenge mode to do that. But yeah, gonna go ahead and show off the weapons. Didn't really show off the Bomb Glove that effectively right there, but it literally is just a bigger blast. Nothing really to say about that. Glove of Doom, as I mentioned before, it makes the minions a lot bigger. I don't know if they get more powerful or not, but they're definitely bigger. Bigger is definitely something they are. We have the Pyrociter, which gives you a green flame instead of a red one. And I think like it just has a, you know, a wider blast radius, I guess. So yeah, that was the Pyrociter. Next up, we're going to show the Tesla Claw. This is what I really, really liked. And you're not really going to get a super good impression here. But as I mentioned before, this actually gives multi-hit properties. So if there's like multiple enemies around, and if you hit one enemy, it'll kind of like aim for another enemy as well, which is really, really cool. Probably my favorite gold weapon just because of how effective it is. When I was going through challenge mode, I used it for the kind of the boss battle in the Blarg station. It was so good because I could kill all the minion soldiers and hurt the queen at the same time, which was awesome. Here we have the Devastator, and I believe with Devastator, if you aim with one, like a secondary missile will pop off and go for another enemy that's nearby. So another really, really good weapon. Probably the second best weapon in my own honest opinion. Then you have the Blaster. The Blaster, funnily enough, I don't think is as good as the normal Blaster. Because whenever you use it and you hit an enemy with the Blaster, it kind of bounces off the enemy. Like ricochets off the enemy. And it tries to go for other enemies, but it doesn't really work out. So because of that, I feel like it's not as automatic as the normal Blaster. So I don't know, maybe I'm just using it wrong. Clearly, like, you don't want to use it for the purpose I'm using it right now, but still, I found that kind of weird how that wasn't really as effective as other ones. Then you have the Goldmine Glove. The Mine Glove is pretty cool. Like, I believe the mine actually is able to find the enemy from a lot further away, which is cool. So that's pretty much what that one is. Next up, we have the Suck Cannon. I believe with the Suck Cannon you can store more shots. And much like a lot of the other bomb weapons, whenever you hit an enemy, it'll have a bigger blast radius. I think that's pretty much how it works. I mean, that would be my impression. Oh yeah, that's a huge blast radius. So yeah, that's probably also a really good weapon, but, you know, Suck Cannon I wouldn't say is like the best, like, aimable weapon, so, you know, use it at your own discretion, obviously. Okay, next up, we're going to be taking a look, after I do a little quick select right here. We still have 2 more weapons to see. We have the the Decoy Glove, and we also have the Morph Array as well. The Decoy Glove, as you remember, it actually makes like a little ratchet dummy that the enemies attack, and after a while it explodes. Once again, I think it's just a case of it's a bigger blast radius, and for some reason, the dummy is an evil version of Ratchet. Like a dark void version of Ratchet, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that's that one. And as far as the Morph Array is concerned, I think what it does is it does the same thing as the normal one. I think it takes less time to work, and it makes bigger chickens. Look at how huge these chickens are. Oh my god. Such a silly weapon. You know, I wonder if like the Morph Array is honestly like a good weapon to use throughout the playthrough, because it can make a lot of enemies just basically nothing in an instant. So this really could be a broken weapon. It just depends on like who you use it against, obviously. But yeah, look at all these chickens. So many chickens, so little time. So now we can make a restaurant called Novalis Fried Chicken now, I guess. But now that we've gone basically over all the gold weapons, one last thing we have to go over, the goodies menu. This will unlock once you beat the game. And you can basically, in this first menu, see all the skill points in the game. This is how you're supposed to figure out all the skill points. If you went through the game and didn't like use a guide, this is where you could figure out all the skill points and what you have to do to get those skill points. So it's kind of good they kind of have a guide within the game if you didn't get them all. Then you have the credits. Obviously, just replay the credits again if you want. You have cheats. I have not used any cheats. I don't plan to use any cheats, but I'll try to link a cheat menu in the video description. Here's the cinematics, all of the cutscenes in the game. If you want to look at them, all the infobot scenes. Just some other things that you can take a look at. You have the in-level movies, some of like the in-level movie and cutscenes that you've gotten. Because this is a New Game Plus playthrough, I don't think it has everything. But yeah, that's basically what this is, I believe. Then you have a sketchbook where you can basically just take a look at concept art for the game. It's basically that simple. It even gives you like some like extra like flavor text too, which is kind of nice. You know, if this wasn't like a playthrough, like a Let's Play or whatever, I'd actually consider just kind of like letting you guys read everything. But you know, I don't want to just read nonstop for like the next like hour or so, because some of this text kind of goes on for a bit longer than you'd expect it to. So don't think I'm going to do that, but yeah, that's basically the sketchbook. And by the same token, we also have the Epilogue section, where you can basically take a look at fun little pictures that kind of detail what happened after the adventure ended. So you see like some cool little headlines and stuff. You can see what some of the characters have been up to. Clank is Robot of the Year. Reader Digested. Oh, God. The Battaglia Chronicles, Hoverboarder. So yeah, just some fun little images here. Homes and bunkers. And I believe we also have a bit of a risque magazine cover here. Ooh, I'm not sure how I feel about this. But you know, it's just basically some things that the developers decided to put in the game. And lastly, we have the making of video and commercials from Ratchet & Clank. You can only get these if you unlock all of the golden weapons in the game. If you don't have all the golden weapons, it won't show those menus. But yeah, if you want to see some of that stuff, you essentially have to get 100% in this game. But once again, because this is stuff you can easily find on YouTube, and plus I want to avoid having like any problems with like commercial copyright and stuff of that nature, I'm probably not going to show them in this video, but I'll definitely link to some of those videos in the video description. So I think with that, that's going to do it. Once again, I want to thank all of you guys for joining me for this playthrough. This is a lot of fun. Really enjoy this game. I definitely recommend it for those who love platformers and action games. And I look forward to seeing what the rest of the series will have to do. But as I said in the last video, going to move on to another PlayStation platformer series when we get to the summer. You guys know him as the one and only Crash Bandicoot. I'll be joining you guys for the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, where I play through the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games. Maybe not all at once, but definitely I'll get started with those playthroughs coming very, very soon to a SlimKirby channel near you. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you guys later. Later, folks.